My name is Bianca Moretti, and I'm 29 years old. If you had asked me a week ago how my life was going, I would have said it was stable. Not remarkable, not terrible, just steady. A quiet job in UX design, a modest apartment I bought years ago with my own savings, and a boyfriend I'd been with for 2 years. Stability, predictability, safety. Or so I thought. The truth is, you never really notice the moment your relationship starts rotting from the inside. Not until something small, so small it shouldn't matter, cracks open the truth like a dropped glass on tile. For me, that moment came in the form of a single screenshot. It was Monday morning. I was still half asleep when my best friend Lacey texted me. No good morning, no context, just an image. At first, I didn't understand what I was looking at. Then everything inside me went perfectly, terrifyingly still. It was a photo of me, sleeping. My hair was a mess, sticking up in a way no amount of brushing could fix. My mouth was open. I looked exhausted, vulnerable, human. My boyfriend Liam Carter had taken it. But the caption, that was the real knife. Imagine waking up to this every day. Underneath, a swarm of reactions. Laughing emojis, crying laughing stickers, playful insults from his little influencer circle. And then the one that turned my stomach cold. Sienna Hale, time for a new one. Sienna, his ex-girlfriend. The one he claimed he was completely over. The one he swore he didn't even talk to anymore. I stared at the screenshot for a long moment, not breathing, not blinking. It wasn't dramatic, no punch of rage, no heartbroken tears. It was quieter, like a switch flipping. A click, a decision forming. Because this wasn't a public post. It wasn't some harmless influencer stunt. This was on Liam's private story, only visible to the people he trusted and valued the most. And in that safe little circle, the person he lived with, the woman who paid the rent, the girlfriend who had stood by him through every algorithm meltdown, was a joke. A joke to tolerate, a flaw to laugh at, an inconvenience masquerading as his partner. I reread the caption again. Imagine waking up to this every day. Funny how he never imagined how it felt for me to wake up next to someone who saw me as content instead of a person. I put my phone down, sat in silence, let the truth settle like dust. This wasn't new, not really. Liam had always cared too much about his image, about being relevant, about curating the perfect life online. He'd teased me before. Little digs in front of his friends, comments about how I wasn't aesthetic enough for his brand. I always told myself it was harmless. He'd always call me sensitive or say, "Baby, it's just for the followers. It's not real." But this was real. This was who he was when he didn't have to pretend. That made it unforgivable. When Liam came home that afternoon, bags from brunch dangling off his wrist, smile bright and effortless, I played along. "Hey, babe," I said, greeting him with a kiss on the cheek. He kissed me back as if nothing was wrong, as if the internet hadn't shared a laugh at my expense hours earlier. "How was your morning?" he asked casually. "Fine," I replied, "just slow." I helped him unpack, listened to him drone on about how his followers loved his behind-the-scenes content lately. He never once mentioned the post. Why would he? To him, it was nothing. A joke. A joke I wasn't supposed to see. But I had seen it, and so had his inner circle, the people whose opinions mattered to him far more than mine ever had. That night, lying beside him in the dim glow of the city lights bleeding through the curtains, he drifted off quickly, peacefully. I stayed awake, staring at the ceiling. He thought I was soft, predictable, someone who would swallow humiliation the way I swallowed everything else he'd thrown at me. He thought I wouldn't do anything. He thought he knew me. He had absolutely no idea what I was capable of. In the hush of that sleepless night, a plan began to take shape. Not impulsive, not emotional. Cold, logical, perfect. If Liam wanted to turn me into entertainment, if he wanted to broadcast my humiliation, then I would give him a performance he'd never forget. Because he wasn't the only one who knew how to manipulate a screen. He wasn't the only one who understood digital personas. He wasn't the only one who could play a long game. I turned my head and looked at him as he slept. Hair perfect, jaw relaxed, breathing soft and even. He had no idea the quiet, invisible shift that had happened inside me. No idea he was already living with a ghost. No idea that every word, every gesture I made from this point forward would be part of a strategy. The strategy to bring down his entire online world, brick by manipulated brick. He wanted to make a joke out of me. Fine. Game on. The thing about Liam is that he's predictable. He likes to think he's spontaneous, impulsive, wild. But underneath the tattoos and the curated chaos, he runs on two things: attention and validation. Take those away, and there's nothing left. For 2 days after I saw that screenshot, I didn't confront him. I didn't cry. I didn't raise my voice or ask him why. Instead, I became the best girlfriend he'd ever had. On Tuesday morning, I woke up early and made him coffee exactly how he liked it: oat milk, vanilla, just enough foam. I brought it to him while he was half buried in his phone, scrolling through comments. He looked surprised. "Whoa, what's this? Trying to spoil me now?" he joked. I smiled. "Maybe I just love you." He grinned, kissed me quickly, then took a photo of the mug with his hand in the frame. Caption, "When she just gets you." He tagged me. His followers flooded the post with relationship goals comments. If they only knew. That night, I ordered his favorite takeout from that overpriced fusion place he loves. I set the table, lit a candle. When he came out of his office, he paused in the hallway, eyebrows lifting. "Damn, Bianca, what's the occasion?" "Nothing," I said lightly. "You just seemed stressed. Thought this might help." He walked over, pulled me into a hug from behind, his chin resting on my shoulder. "You're too good to me. You know that?" I didn't answer. I didn't trust my voice not to betray the icy clarity I felt inside. Let him think this was guilt, or insecurity, or me trying to be better for him. It made what I was about to do easier. Our apartment was small, but it was mine. I'd bought it before I ever met Liam, back when my life was boring in the safest way. White walls, secondhand furniture, a steady job in UX, no drama, no chaos. Then Liam arrived, like a storm in expensive sneakers. Suddenly, there were ring lights in the living room, stacks of PR packages in the hallway, a permanent smell of hair product in the bathroom. Our home became a set, and my life became background noise for his feed. The first time he joked about me not being aesthetic, I laughed it off. The 10th time, it hurt. Now, I was done. On Monday night, after he fell asleep snoring softly beside me, I slipped out of bed and padded to the living room. My laptop sat on the coffee table. I opened it, the light painting cold blue onto my face. You pick up a lot in UX design. Not just how people use interfaces, but how they think, how they fall for what looks official, how easy it is to fake authority with the right font, the right tone, the right tiny details. Liam's dream for the last month had been one thing: Aura. Aura was a pop-up restaurant that had turned into a cultural phenomenon overnight. It was all over his feed, other influencers tagging each other, posting dimly lit aesthetic shots of cocktails, strategic glints of gold under mood lighting. No signage, no public reservations, invite only. He talked about it nonstop. B, if I could just get into Aura, that's like instant level up. Brands see that. People take you seriously when you're in those circles. He said it like we didn't live in the same universe sometimes. So I gave him what he wanted, just not in the way he expected. I spent hours that night studying Aura's branding, their logo, their color palette, the language they used in posts, half mysterious, half pretentious. Then I opened a blank email template and started building. From auraeventsevents.auraconcepts.co to Liam Carter. Subject, exclusive invitation. Aura. Private experience. Collaboration. Opportunity. I wrote like a brand marketer with something better to do. We've been following your content and love your unique energy. We are extending a discreet invitation to select creators whose image aligns with Aura's vision. I referenced a tech company I used to work with before I switched to UX, just enough corporate legitimacy to make it believable. Your name was recommended through a contact at Luminex Systems, and we would be delighted to host you and a guest this Wednesday at 8 o'clock p.m. I attached a fake PDF with the logo, a time slot, and a note about strictly controlled guest lists and discretion advised. It was flawless. Not perfect. Perfect would make it suspicious. Just polished enough to be real. I scheduled the email to arrive the next evening at 7:15 p.m., right when I knew he'd be at his most restless, scrolling his inbox and analytics like a gambler watching slot machine reels. Then I closed the laptop and went back to bed. Liam murmured something in his sleep and turned onto his side. I lay awake, staring at his back. He thought he'd turned me into a joke. He had no idea I'd just turned him into a story. Tuesday evening, I made sure everything looked natural. I cooked pasta, let a YouTube video play softly in the background, left my laptop open on the dining table like I'd been working. At 7:16, I watched from the kitchen as my screen lit up with a new email notification. Right on time. Baabe! Liam called from the hallway, sounding half distracted. Have you seen my black hoodie? The one with the white stitching? In the laundry basket, I called back. He walked past the table, then froze. I saw it in the corner of my eye. The subtle double take when something in your peripheral vision catches fire. He leaned over my laptop. Silence. I dried my hands slowly with a towel, giving him time to read. Bianca, he said, voice suddenly higher, almost breathless. I turned, eyebrows raised, like I didn't already know. What's up? He spun the laptop toward me so fast he nearly pulled out the charger. His eyes were wide. Did you see this? He said. You didn't tell me you knew someone at Aura. I walked over, acting like I was seeing the email for the first time. I even narrowed my eyes and leaned in. Oh, I said slowly. That. I must have missed it. My inbox is chaos lately. You must have missed it? He repeated, like I'd said I accidentally forgot a winning lottery ticket in the trash. He pointed at the screen. Bianca, this is Aura. They invited us. Do you understand how big this is? This is huge for my brand. Huge. He was already pacing, his mind racing ahead of his mouth. I mean, we have to go. Wednesday at 8. That's tomorrow. I need an outfit. I need to plan content. Oh my God, I need to tell people without, telling them, you know? I pretended to think about it. Well, I guess we can go, I said, if you really want to. He stopped, stared at me like I'd said, if you really want to breathe air. Do I really, Bianca, this could change everything for me. He kissed my forehead, his gratitude overflowing, but not really for me, for the opportunity, for what it would do for him. Seriously, you're the best, he said. I knew things were going to turn around. I can feel it. I smiled and tucked a piece of hair behind his ear. Inside, I felt nothing, just a quiet, steady focus. The next 24 hours were a montage of Liam spiraling upward. He ordered a new shirt with same-day delivery, booked a last-minute haircut, spent half the afternoon practicing casual poses in the mirror. His phone never left his hand. Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat. Every platform got a cryptic teaser. Something big tomorrow. Can't believe this is happening. Dream collab loading. His followers ate it up. Speculation flooded his DMs. He wouldn't say what it was, but he made sure they knew it was exclusive. This is it, B, he said that night, lying in bed with his arm thrown dramatically over his face. You don't get chances like this twice. Once I'm seen at Aura, I'm on a different level. I turned my head to look at him. How do you know you're ready for that level? I asked quietly. He dropped his arm and looked at me like I didn't understand the gravity of his destiny. You're never ready, he said. You just show up and become it. People believe what you show them. I held his gaze for a long moment. Yeah, I said softly. They do. He smiled, misreading everything. Don't worry, he added, pulling me closer. When I blow up, I'm taking you with me. I rested my head on his chest, listening to his heartbeat, steady and oblivious. You're not taking me anywhere, I thought. Tomorrow, you're not leveling up. You're crashing down. He drifted off, already dreaming of the pictures he would take, the stories he would tell. Meanwhile, in my head, I was already in front of that unmarked door, seeing his face when the illusion crumbled, watching the moment his carefully curated life slipped through his fingers in front of thousands of witnesses. He thought tomorrow night would elevate his status. I knew it would bury it. Wednesday evening arrived with the kind of electric tension you can taste. The air felt too still, the apartment felt too clean, and Liam felt too excited. He'd been pacing for the last hour, checking the time, adjusting his shirt, smoothing his hair, fiddling with cufflinks, brushing imaginary lint off his coat. Every few minutes, he'd glance at the mirror on our living room wall and practice a new, natural smile. Bianca, how's this one? He held up his phone, turning his head slightly so the light hit his jawline. Perfect, I said. He had no idea how right and wrong that word would be tonight. The car ride. The black town car I ordered pulled up at exactly 7:32 p.m. He insisted on going fashionably early, not realizing the irony. When we stepped outside, he immediately pulled out his phone. Okay, don't say anything yet, he whispered, completely serious. I'm going live. A familiar knot tightened in my chest. Not fear, not regret, anticipation. He turned on the camera. His face lit up instantly, shifting into that polished persona his followers adored. Guys, he said dramatically, I can't say where we're headed yet, but trust me, this is major. Stay tuned. His smile was blinding. His confidence was towering. And soon, both would break. I watched the city lights streak across the windows as we drove. The warm glow on his skin made him look almost innocent. If I didn't know better, I might have felt guilty. But guilt belongs to people who are still emotionally invested. I wasn't. What I felt was clarity. Razor-sharp clarity. The arrival. The car pulled into one of the trendiest districts in the city. Liam straightened his jacket and checked his reflection in the tinted window. "Okay, B, this is it," he said, breathless. "This is the moment." "Yes," I said softly. "It is." We stepped out. There it was, the perfect illusion I had meticulously constructed. A converted warehouse with a single unmarked black door, a velvet rope, and a bouncer who looked like he could snap Liam in half with his pinky. A small line of impeccably dressed guests waited outside, murmuring about exclusivity and curated experiences. All hired actors, every last one. Liam's jaw dropped. "Oh my God," he whispered. "B, this is exactly how they described it." I bit back a smile. Of course it was. I made sure of it. He immediately lifted his phone again. "Guys, look at this," he narrated breathlessly, walking toward the door. "This is insane." I stayed behind him, watching him bask in the glow of attention, his followers commenting furiously as his stream exploded with activity. We approached the bouncer. "Hi," Liam said confidently. "Reservation for 2, under Liam Carter." The bouncer, whose real name was Stan and who currently performed Shakespeare in a community theater on weekends, furrowed his brows and scanned his clipboard. Carter. Carter. No, I don't see that name." Liam laughed lightly, forcing nonchalance. "Try under Moretti," he said. "My girlfriend's contact got us in." More flipping, more silence, a dramatic pause. Then Stan looked up with a perfectly practiced mixture of sympathy and authority. "No Carter, no Moretti, sorry." Liam's smile faltered, just for a second, but he quickly recovered. "It's probably just a mix-up," he said, turning to me. "Right, B?" I shrugged helplessly. Stan leaned in slightly. "This is a private night, only pre-approved guests." The whispers from the line grew louder. Phones angled subtly in our direction. Liam's live stream chat exploded. "What's happening? Is he lying? Liam, bro, did you fake it?" Awkward. He started sweating. "There must be a mistake," Liam insisted. "I was personally invited." Stan gave an apologetic frown. "We've had issues with counterfeit invitations recently." The color drained from Liam's face. This was legit, his voice cracked. Then the manager stepped out. A tall, elegant man with silver hair and an expensive suit, another actor from the same theater company. "What seems to be the problem?" he asked, tone smooth like velvet. "Hi," Liam said, voice high and brittle. "I got an invite. My girlfriend's contact got us in." The manager typed something on a tablet that wasn't even turned on. "I'm very sorry," he said with professional pity, "but your name isn't registered. I'm afraid someone may have misled you." Liam went pale. Right there, on his live stream, in front of more than 3,000 viewers, he started unraveling. "You don't understand," he said desperately. "My followers are watching this. Just check again. Please, check again." The manager shook his head gently. "I'm going to have to ask you to step aside, sir. You're holding up our actual guests." The line grew quiet. Even the actors were stunned by the raw humiliation pouring off him. His hand trembled as he lowered his phone. The live stream was still active. People were still watching. His voice shrank to a whisper. "I don't understand." I stepped back slowly, silently, pulled out my phone, framed him in the camera. His perfect hair, now limp, his confident smirk, gone. His influencer glow, dimmed into panic. The velvet rope behind him, the grand entrance he thought he belonged to, the bouncer's unwavering stance, and Liam, standing alone in the spotlight of his own downfall. Click. One photo. One clean shot. I posted it instantly. Caption: "Imagine waking up to this every day." The irony was delicious. I didn't wait for him to notice, didn't wait for the audience to react, didn't wait for anything. I turned, walked back to the car, and told the driver, "Home, please." The door shut behind me, muffling the manager's soft apologies and Liam's cracking voice. As the car pulled away, I looked out the window and whispered, "The show is over." But deep inside, I knew the truth. This wasn't the end. It was only the opening act. The car ride home was silent. Not peaceful, charged, like the air before a lightning strike. I didn't look back at the warehouse. I didn't need to. In my mind, I could already picture Liam's expression as he stared after the car. Confusion folding into humiliation, humiliation sharpening into panic, panic fermenting into rage. It didn't matter. The moment the engine hummed beneath me, I exhaled for the first time that night. Not relief, not guilt. Completion. One piece of a much larger puzzle had clicked into place. The locked door. When I reached the apartment, the hallway smelled faintly of jasmine from the diffuser I'd set earlier. Everything looked exactly the same as when we'd left. the shoes by the door, the stack of PR packages Liam still hadn't opened, the ring light leaning against the couch like a silent, unblinking witness. But this time, it wasn't our home. It was my space, and a battlefield he no longer had access to. 2 days earlier, while Liam was busy live streaming and unboxing in the bathroom for better acoustics, I called a locksmith. "Urgent?" he asked. "Extremely," I'd said. The new locks clicked into place like armor. So when I shut the door behind me after the aura spectacle and turned both locks with calm, deliberate motions, it felt right. Clean. Final. My phone buzzed, the screen lighting up with his name, again and again. I switched it to airplane mode, placed it face down on the kitchen island, and made myself a cup of tea. Chamomile. Calming. The tea wasn't for my emotions. It was simply habit. My heart wasn't racing. My hands weren't trembling. It was eerie how calm I felt. I took a long shower, washed off the city grit, changed into soft cotton pajamas, and crawled into bed with the sheets cool and crisp around me. I slept better that night than I had in months. The storm arrives. At 2:12 a.m., someone began pounding on the door. I sat up in bed, alert but unsurprised. Through the walls, I could hear Liam shouting, a raw, cracking mix of fear and fury. "Bianca, open the door! B, what the hell? Open up!" I padded into the living room, the wooden floor cool under my feet. I didn't open the door. I simply tapped my doorbell camera feed. The screen lit up with Liam's face. His makeup-perfect influencer glow was gone. Smeared, sweaty, streaked with tears he would never admit to. His hair was disheveled, his shirt wrinkled. He looked like a man whose identity had been yanked straight out of his hands. "Bianca, why did you leave? What was that? What did you do to me?" He banged again, fist slamming against the metal. "You embarrassed me in front of everyone. What is wrong with you?" I sipped the water I had brought from the kitchen, standing in silence as he screamed himself hoarse. Eventually, his cries softened into pleading. "B, please, just talk to me. Open the door, please." The camera lens caught everything. The desperation, the anger, the collapse. I watched without emotion, not because I hated him, but because I was done. After 30 minutes, he slumped against the wall, exhausted. At some point, he left. I didn't check the time. I simply went back to bed. The next morning, the internet erupts. I woke up to sunlight and silence. After making myself breakfast, I finally turned my phone on. Notifications exploded. Hundreds of messages, tags, and mentions. The instant my phone synced, it buzzed like a hornet's nest. Liam had gone nuclear. He posted 6 Instagram stories, a TikTok video, and a long Twitter thread, all by dawn. My girlfriend betrayed me. She set me up. She humiliated me publicly. She's manipulative. I'm the victim here. He uploaded a crying video, red-eyed and shaking. Sienna, his ex, jumped in immediately. She posted a selfie with the caption, "Some women don't know how to treat a good man." She made a 3-minute rant about evil girlfriends who ruin influencer careers. Her followers swarmed. Then Liam's friends piled on. She blindsided him. That prank she pulled, psychotic. Liam deserves better. Bianca is emotionally unstable. She needs help. They painted me as a villain with the ease of people who've rehearsed the script before. Part of me was impressed. He moved fast when his image was threatened. But here's the thing about social media. When you panic, people can smell it. His narrative had cracks, contradictions, gaps. Some followers noticed. Why was he live streaming a private invite? Why would a supposedly gentle, sleeping photo joke justify the kind of public meltdown he had? Why were his stories inconsistent? The comments began splitting. Team Liam. She ruined him. What a psycho. She planned it. Team Bianca. Something feels off. Why would she do this out of nowhere? Liam's story doesn't add up. He's hiding something. I didn't say a word. Not a post, not a story, not even a like. I let the internet boil. Let his lies ferment. Let his followers argue. Silence was my sharpest weapon. Behind the calm, people think revenge is emotional, that it's fueled by rage or heartbreak. But mine wasn't. It was methodical, intentional, surgical. Liam's biggest mistake wasn't the sleeping photo. It wasn't even the caption. It was believing there would be no consequences, that I was soft, predictable, safe. He had forgotten something vital. I had receipts too, ones far worse than a mocking picture. And if he wanted a war, I would give him one he couldn't spin, edit, or filter his way out of. I sat down at my desk, opened my laptop, and whispered, "Time to end this." The thing about Liam was simple. He built his entire identity on smoke and mirrors, and he believed everyone else did too. He thought if he spun the narrative hard enough, posted enough teary-eyed rants, and let his ex-girlfriend Sienna inflate the drama, he could flip the script. He thought his followers would save him. He thought lies could outmaneuver truth. But he didn't understand something fundamental. Influencers need an audience. Brands need proof. And I had both. The evidence buried in the cloud. I sat at my desk that morning, a cup of cooling coffee beside me, and opened our shared cloud account. Liam had forgotten he was still logged in. Logged into everything. Photos, files, screenshots, receipts. He had always been careless with the devices he used to cheat his way into relevance, and now it would cost him everything. I found the Miami album within seconds. The first few photos were the polished ones he had posted online. Perfect light, perfect angles, perfect lies. Then I scrolled further. Buried deeper were the raw, unfiltered truths. A mirror selfie of Liam shirtless with Sienna hugging him from behind, both laughing. A blurry hotel bed photo with 2 cocktails on the nightstand. A receipt from Asteria, a luxury Mediterranean restaurant. Dinner for 2, $428. Paid with the corporate card Elysian had issued him for brand expenses. And then the worst one, a video, just 8 seconds long. Liam recording himself with Sienna kissing his cheek, whispering, "Thanks, Elysian, for the romantic getaway." My jaw clenched. He hadn't just cheated on me, he'd cheated on the brand that paid his bills. He wasn't just unfaithful, he was irresponsible, entitled, reckless. He thought he was untouchable. He was wrong. The email that would end him. I opened a blank email. To Marina.Dalka@Elysian. Subject, confidential, concerning your ambassador, Liam Carter. I wrote professionally, calmly, without venom. Cold truth hits harder when delivered without emotion. Hello, Marina. I am contacting you privately regarding one of your ambassadors, Liam Carter. I understand the importance Elysian places on authenticity and brand alignment, so I believe you deserve full insight into a series of actions that may impact your company. Attached are a screenshot of Liam publicly mocking me, his partner, in his private story. Documentation of a smear campaign he initiated. Photos from his Miami trip, which I understand was sponsored by Elysian. Receipts indicating he expensed a romantic dinner with his ex-girlfriend to the brand. I want to be very clear. The incident at Aura was a response to his targeted humiliation of me. However, his pattern of deception goes far beyond our personal conflict. I am not seeking public drama. I am sending this to you directly because a brand built on transparency deserves the truth. If you require additional information, I am willing to cooperate. Bianca Moretti. I attached every file, each one a nail in the coffin Liam built himself. My finger hovered over the mouse for one breath. Then, send. No trembling, no hesitation. The email shot into cyberspace like a bullet. A quiet, professional bullet aimed straight at the empire Liam worshipped. The waiting. I closed my laptop, went to the gym, ran 5 miles. Every footfall on the treadmill felt like a release, as if months of swallowed dignity were dissolving into the sweat on my skin. When I got home, I showered, tied my hair back, and sliced fruit for lunch. I didn't check my phone. I didn't need to, because I knew exactly how this would play out. The brand would respond. The brand would investigate. The brand would burn him down faster than I ever could. The detonation. At 3:17 p.m., my phone buzzed. A single-line preview popped up on my screen. Thank you for bringing this to our attention. And beneath it, another email notification. Then another. Then another. The avalanche had begun. I opened Instagram. Liam had gone silent. No stories, no posts, no tweets, no damage control. His last story was from 6 hours ago. Him sitting in his car, puffy-eyed, trying to look victimized. But now, nothing. Silence is loud on the internet. Then the group chats started leaking. Screenshots from smaller influencers. Messages from mutual acquaintances. Elysian dropped him. They're suing. They found out about the fraud. His contract is terminated effective immediately. Legal is involved. He's panicking. I leaned back in my chair, closed my eyes. No satisfaction, no guilt. Just stillness. Sienna's collapse. Within hours, Sienna deleted her rant. Then her follow-up rant. Then her vague tweet about fake friends and some people aren't worth defending. She unfollowed Liam. Then refollowed him. Then unfollowed him again. She posted a black screen to her story with the text, "Taking a break from social media." Translation: she realized she backed the losing side. Liam breaks. Around 6 p.m., while I was folding laundry, my phone buzzed again. A voicemail from Liam. I didn't listen to it yet. I simply watched as he tried to call again. And again. And again. The notifications stacked one on top of the other like a desperate tower of apologies. But I didn't answer, not out of cruelty, out of peace. Because the truth was undeniable now. I didn't destroy Liam. I simply showed the right people where he had buried his own career. I turned off the phone and placed it face down on the dresser. Then I whispered to myself, almost gently, "This is what accountability looks like." Little did I know, the final blow hadn't even landed yet. 6 months. It's strange how quickly your life can untangle itself from someone else's chaos when you stop trying to hold the pieces together. Back then, I thought revenge would feel loud, explosive, triumphant. But the truth, it arrived quietly, like a door clicking shut, like a room finally exhaling, like silence after months of relentless noise. That's what my life has been since Liam Carter imploded. Quiet. And I've learned to love quiet. The aftermath hits him hard. The week after Elysian received my email, Liam's world didn't just crack, it collapsed. I heard the story not from gossip, not from his endless live streams, those stopped abruptly, but from someone who worked in marketing, a friend of a coworker, someone with no reason to lie and every reason to stay informed. Elysian didn't just drop him, she told me over coffee. They decided to make an example out of him. Apparently, the evidence I submitted triggered a full internal investigation. Expense fraud, violation of the morals clause, brand misrepresentation. They terminated his contract immediately, citing breach of ethics. And then they did something even worse. They demanded repayment. Every dollar from the Miami trip, every comped meal, every paid expense tied to falsified content creation, plus damages. When word of the scandal rippled out to the influencer world, brands acted fast, too fast. Influencers aren't employees. They're disposable marketing tools. One scandal, and the algorithm erases you. Liam's sponsors ghosted him. His partnerships evaporated. His name became toxic. A cautionary tale quietly circulated in the community. Don't be a Liam. Even Sienna disappeared almost instantly. Unfollowed him. Deleted her solidarity posts. Went back to vague thirst traps and self-care captions. Loyalty isn't real in that world. Clout is. And Liam had none left. His followers turned. Before long, his social media became a graveyard. Thousands of comments from former fans. You lied. You're fake. No wonder she left you. Return the brand money, scammer. Unfollowed. Do better. Yikes. He tried to defend himself at first, posting long essays, crying videos, rambling explanations. But his followers didn't buy it. They weren't laughing anymore. He wasn't content anymore. He wasn't shiny or aspirational or enviable. He was human, and in the influencer world, that's the worst thing to be. Eventually, he deleted everything, wiped his accounts clean. The silence felt like a digital funeral. He resurfaced a month later with a private profile and no follower count showing. The fall had humbled him in ways I never thought possible. Where he is now, mutual acquaintances talk. Neighbors whisper. People notice things. Liam lost the apartment he moved into after leaving mine. Couldn't afford it. He took a job bartending at a hotel lounge. Not glamorous, not curated, not Instagrammable. A job where no one cares about your follower count. He's drowning in legal bills and brand penalties. He's burned every bridge in the influencer world. His ex-girlfriend blocked him. His friends abandoned him. His online identity, his entire reason for breathing, evaporated. And without the validation he fed on daily, he shrank. He became small, real, just a man. Where I am now, I didn't plan some spiritual rebirth. I didn't reinvent myself. I didn't start posting glow-up photos or vague revenge quotes. I simply lived. I went back to work. I reconnected with friends I'd neglected. I slept better, took cooking classes, redecorated my apartment without worrying if it fit someone else's aesthetic. My life returned to something beautifully ordinary, and I realized that's what I always wanted. Not an audience, not an online persona, not a partner who treated life like a performance. Just peace. The last time I saw him. It happened 3 weeks ago. I was driving home from the grocery store when he stepped off the curb at a red light, crossing right in front of my car. He didn't see me. He looked normal. No designer clothes, no perfect hair, no ring light glow. Just tired and quiet. Carrying a backpack slung over one shoulder, walking like someone who didn't want to be perceived. I watched him pass. For a moment, I expected to feel something. Triumph, maybe. Bitterness. Satisfaction. Righteous anger. But there was nothing. Seeing him didn't reopen wounds. Didn't twist my stomach. Didn't ignite the anger he once caused so effortlessly. It felt like watching a stranger whose story I happened to know the ending of. When the light turned green, I drove away. No drama, no symbolism, no cinematic closure, just moving forward. Because that's what real closure looks like. My final thought. People think revenge is about hurting someone, but real revenge, the lasting kind, isn't destruction. It's exposure. All I did was remove the glossy filter from Liam's life. He destroyed himself with what was underneath. He wanted to make me the punchline of a joke, but in the end, the only joke was the life he pretended to have. And I walked away without ever needing to laugh.